Hello, and welcome to another meeting of the Lotus Council. So what we got today? We have another sealed deck. So from the last box that I did, the last set box, I said I was going to do a commander deck. Well, done something a little bit different. So this video, I'm going to go over one of the decks I built, and another video, I'll go over the second deck. So I actually built two decks out of a single set booster box. So there seems to be this opinion that people have that you can't really do much with set boosters. Honestly, I think they're a little bit better for deck building, and hopefully you'll see why. So one of the legendaries that I've chosen, Satsuki, the Living Lore. So this is all about enchantments. So 2-drop, I love 2-drops for commanders. Would love 1-drops if there was more than, Reese, really. But 2-drop is a really good number. You can get it out the commander pretty quick and early, and the synergies are pretty good. So you can put lore counters on each saga you control, activate as a sorcery, so you basically progress them faster, get them into the creatures, because the sagas in this set turn into creatures. They don't just go away. And when your commander dies, you get to return an enchantment creature to owner's hand or saga card from graveyard to hand. So you can get those back. Really important. So obviously we're going to be running a massive number of enchantments with this. So we have Azusa's Many Journeys. This is a really great card. I love this card so much. 2-drop, green and colorless. First one, you get to play an additional land. So you put this out turn 2, you're ramping. Then you gain 3 life. Then it flips into this absolute beast of a card. Whenever it becomes blocked, you get to untap up to 3 lands you control. So people have to make decisions on whether they're going to block this or not. I've been playing this a lot in Limited, and it really does great. So we also have Teachings of Kirin, mill 3 cards, create a spirit token. So you have stuff in the graveyard to get back. Put a +1/+1 counter on creature, and then it comes back as pretty cool enchantment creature, I mean, you get to exile a card from a creature card from graveyard, create a colorless spirit creature token, or exile a non-creature card from a graveyard and put a +1/+1 counter. So you got to keep those graveyards nice and clean. Also, very low cost to run. Then we got Besejo Reaches Skyward. So with this one, you actually do get a ramp. You don't get to put them out on the battlefield, but you could put them in your hand, which, especially in Limited, by turn 4, you may not have lands in hand. So this is going to get you land drops. If you have a land in your graveyard, you can put it on top of your library. Usually that one hasn't ever triggered for me. This might be good in Gitrog, though. And then the backside is, it is a creature with reach, and it gets +1/+1 for each land you control. So pretty good. Then we got Grafted Growth, ramp, adding +1/+1 counters, careful cultivation, also ramp, giving creatures +1/+3 and reach. Dragon Kami Reborn. Like I said, really good. I'll have a deck list. Tales of Master Shishiro, +1/+1 counter, +1/+1 counter. Comes back as a 5/5 with vigilance and haste. Have Era of Enlightenment, getting to scry, gain 2 life. Comes back as a 2/2 with first strike. Restoration of, we got Gino, cannot pronounce that. So look for planes, put it in your hand, discard a card, return a permanent with value 2 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield tap. Exile, and it comes back as a 3/4 with vigilance. Whenever it attacks or blocks, create a 1/1 color speed creature token. So making a lot of spirit tokens already. So we then also have Go Shintai of Shared Purpose. Vigilance, paying 1 for each shrine, getting a 1/1 creature. Not too bad. You got Befriending the Moss. Target creature gets +1/+1 of flying. Does that twice. Pops into a 2/4 with flying. Fall of Lord Kondu. Intercessioner's Arrest. Basically making it so enchanted permanent can't attack, block, or crew vehicles. And it shuts down the activated abilities unless it's mana. Really good. Makicho's Reign of Truth. I have that doubled up? Nope. Okay. So, oh, okay. Yeah, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each artifact and/or enchantment you control. Pretty good. Touch of the Spirit Realm. You basically are exiling something. Favor of Jukai. Enchanted permanent gets +3/+3 in reach. So pretty good. Born to Drive. So it's, as long as it's a creature, it's getting +1/+1 for each creature. So really good. Okay, and the creatures. So we do have a lot of enchantment creatures as well because of our commanders. So we've got Fang of Shigeki, 1/1 Death Toucher, really good. Moijin of Towering Might. Distributing 8 +1/+1 counters if you remove an indestructible counter from it. And they gain trample till end of turn, so pretty good. Air of Ancient Fang. So it gets +1/+1 if you have a modified creature. I am distributing counters. Kami of Transience. Whenever you cast an enchantment, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Yeah, that's definitely happening. Go Shentai of Boundless Vigor. This one's getting bigger for each shrine. Greater Tunaki. You can channel to go looking for a basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped, or you can just play it as a 6/5 for 4 with trample. That's pretty good. And it is an enchantment creature, so you could channel it away, get it back, and go again. Bamboo Grove Archer, 2 for a 3/3 with Defender or Reach. Does have that channel ability. We got Weaver of Harmony. Other enchantment creatures you control get +1/+1. And for a green and tap, you can copy target activated or triggered ability you control from enchantment source. It doesn't do mana abilities, but it can do, like if you're doing a saga, you can do it twice, which is really good. Generous Visitor, whenever you cast an enchantment spell, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Kappa Tech Wrecker, Ninja Turtle, can ninjutsu in for 1 in green, or you can play it for 1 in green, and it enters the battlefield with the Death Touch counter. You can remove that counter to exile target artifact or enchantment that player controls. Skyblast Samurai, costs 1 less for each enchantment you control. It's 4/4 with flying, and it is an enchantment creature. Circuit Mender, entering the battlefield, gaining life when it dies, drawing a card. Spirited Companion, enchantment creature dog. It's a 1/1, but you get to draw a card when it enters. Really cool. A good boy. So Golden Tail Disciple, 2/3 with lifelink, also enchantment creature. Web Spinner Cuff, +1/+4 in reach when it's equipped. And it is a 1/4 Lion Sash. Exile target card from a graveyard. If it was permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on Lion Sash. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each +1/+1 counter on Lion Sash. And it's reconfigured to, this card is absolute fire. I'm surprised it's not seeing more play. It's cleans those graveyards nicely. So in Pioneer and Modern, I think this is going to be really good. I'm putting this into Hammer Time that I'm building. Of course, Luris is now gone, so won't be quite as good, but I think that'll be okay. Geothermal Kami. When it enters the battlefield, return an enchantment you control to its owner's hand. If you do, you gain 3 life. Do one of the sagas. Do it again. Orochi Merch Keeper, tapping for mana. Or if it's modified, it's tapping for 2 mana, 2 green. We got Coiling Stalker, another ninjutsu creature. When it deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control that doesn't have a +1/+1 counter on it already. Really good. Then we've got Jukai Trainee. Whenever it blocks or becomes blocked, you get +1/+1 till end of turn. Springleaf Avenger. Whenever it deals combat damage, you're getting a permanent card back from your graveyard to your hand. It is a 6/5 for 5, or ninjutsu for 3 in green. Pretty good. Then we got Shigeki. This is really, really, really good because it also, not only is it looking for the top cards, you look at the top cards, put the rest in your graveyard, but this ability has it returning to your hand. So then you can channel to get X non-legendary cards from your graveyard to your hand, pulling them out of the hand. and you can get it back for more. Kura, the Boundless Sky. Yeah, I mean, I don't need to go into why this is a good card. 4/4 flying Death Touch, and when it dies, you get to search for 3 lands, put them in your hand, or create an XX green spirit creature token where X is the number of lands you have. I just wish it was an enchantment so I could get it back easily. Blade Blizzard Kitsu, Double Strike, really good. Selfless Samurai, Light Paws, basically going and looking for auras and attaching them. Pretty good. I don't have a lot of auras in here, and there's some I don't want to attach to Light Paws, so yeah, I'm glad it's a You May ability. Imperial Subduer, Mothrider Patrol, it's got that nice little tap down feature on it for a 1/1 flyer, not bad. And then some of the utility spells. So Invoke the Ancients, Boon of Beseju, Tamiyo Safekeeping, really great card. March of Otherworldly Light, Light the Way, putting counters on things, untapping them, or returning something to your hand if you need to protect it. Regent's Authority, +2/+2, but if it's an enchantment, that is one is a +1/+1 counter, and the other is a +1/+1. So really great in an enchantments deck. Then we got Brilliant Restoration. Return all artifact and enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Don't need to explain why that's good. Imperial Oath. When we were young, so 2 target creatures each get +2/+2 till end of turn. If you control an artifact and an enchantment, those creatures also gain lifelink until end of turn. Really good. Commune with Spirits for a little bit of ramp. Looking for, well, either lands or enchantments. Putting in your hand, rest on the bottom of the library. Network Terminal, tapping for 1 mana of any color, or being able to draw a card. It is 3, but you know what? That draw ability is pretty good. Ecologist Terrarium, I swear I can speak English. Searching for lands, Ancestral Katana. Yeah, it's pretty good. So +2/+1. And you could equip for 1 if you've got a Samurai or Warrior attacking alone, or equip for 3. Pretty good. Spinning Wheel Kick. So target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each of X target creatures and or planeswalkers. Just going to show something here. So I have 2 cards that this would just be absolutely fire with. And hopefully you see what they have in common. Death Touch counter, straight up Death Touch. Yeah, that would just absolutely, well, wouldn't kill the planeswalkers, but it would just wipe the board if you have enough mana. Then we got Repel the Vial, Wanderer's Intervention, Exposed to Daylight, one of the list cards. So destroy target artifact or enchantment. If we're playing against people playing from this set, there's a lot of enchantments and artifacts. Farewell, exile all artifacts, all creatures, all enchantments, all graveyards. Yeah, basically clean up. Vanishing Slash. Basically destroy up to 1 target artifact, enchantment, or tap creature. If you control an artifact and an enchantment, create a 2/2 White Samurai with token Vigilance. Okay, so let's talk about the mana base. So pretty straightforward. We've got one of the channel lands, the white one, the Seat of the Empire. I mean, basically you can channel it to deal 4 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Yeah, costs 1 less for each. Legendary, you got Commander out, maybe 1 more. Pretty cheap. Roadside Reliquary. So tap 2, tap, sacrifice it. Draw a card if you control an artifact. Draw a card if you control an enchantment. Lots of both in here. And of course, Blossoming Sands. And then we've got 17 forests and 15 plains. So really straightforward mana base. So, well, that's one of the decks that I built from that sealed box. You'll have to see the other video for the other deck. But we want to thank you for joining us today. So if you're looking out for cards, we want to recommend that you go check out our friend over at Geekified. You can find him at geekifiediowa.com. They've got sealed singles as well as assorted geeky products, so check them out and let them know that we sent you. And if you're interested in knowing when we're meeting next, go ahead and subscribe, hit that bell notification, and join us in our Discord. So thank you all for joining us today, and we appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and we hope to see you next time. That's all we have, and our meeting is now adjourned. We hope you have a fantastic day.